coaching, we're going to be working with kids, we're going to be instructing and teaching, but there's a person off the field that we're catering to more, and that's the parent. So as you go through these, try to differentiate between what is coaching oriented and what is business and customer service oriented. So it took me a long time, because the first 10 years I coached, it was always at a school or an institution, and you don't look at there is no business side of it, so to speak. But when you start working with companies and facilities that that are customer service based, it's important to keep those things in mind. So as we go through these, try to keep that in mind, that we're dealing with parents, we're dealing with customers, and not only their kids, and teaching them soccer. So hopefully we can relate to that as we listen to these videos. So on to the first one.
All right. Screen share.
You close.
So the way we have these for you to remember is M-Cord. That's how we memorize these in order. But we're going to start today with safety.
Hey everybody, my name is Justin Judasak, and I've been an Elite FT since 2007. I've been a lifer since 2016, and today I'm going to be presenting to you the core value of caring. Right? If you truly care about someone, not only will you want to interact with them, but you'll also care about their safety to make sure that they're okay. Okay. Now, really the most important way that you can care about someone is to take care of their safety and protect them. Okay. Now, Justin chose me for this core value, and I think he chose me because of 3 reasons. And those 3 reasons are right here. Their names are Rylan, Lawson, and Joey. Right? These are my 3 kids. Just like a number of other lifers, I'm a parent of kids that are in the program. And so Justin understands that not only do I know what it means to be a coach, but I also have the perspective of what it means to be a parent of kids that are in the program. So one thing I know as a parent is that I would do anything to keep my kids safe. I would do anything to protect them. And as an Elite FT coach, you should have that same mentality. You have to understand that you're dealing with somebody's babies, somebody's kids, whether they're 2 years old or whether they're in high school. So that's the mentality you need to have if you want to keep them safe. So what does that mean for you as a coach practically? What that means is whenever you're giving instructions on the directions in an activity, you want to make sure to remind the kids not to run or not to dribble with their head down. The last thing you want is for them to run into each other and get injured. All right. Also, Elite FT has a standard rule that we do not do head balls until the high school ages. We know that U.S. Soccer has allowed that at younger ages, but since we often have sessions that are mixed with different age groups, you're not going to know what age each kid is, and so we don't do head balls until the high school age group. Also, make sure that all the extra materials, whether that's cones, discs, water bottles, those things are off of the playing space so that nobody's tripping over them. If you're at the sports academy indoors, you want to build a force field around all the extra gear. That way none of it is loose and getting into the playing field and hurting the kids. Also, when you're at the TSA, you want to make sure that all the doors are closed and so nobody's running through them or running into them. Okay. Additionally, we have what is called the post effect. What that ultimately means is at no point when you are on the job should you be striking a ball into the goal. The last thing we want is for a kid to get hit, even if it deflects off the post and then hits him in the face and causes a bloody nose. All right, that could be something that's obviously unsafe. So never should you be striking a ball while on the job. Okay. When you're outdoors, we have a rule called "Here Comes the Sun," which means that the athletes never face the sun. The coach should always be the one that's facing the sun to protect their eyes. Also, at the end of every session, you are not to leave until you know that every athlete is accounted for. Every athlete is being taken by their parents. You don't want to leave them alone. All right. A couple scenario things. If you're doing a session and you have an athlete that needs to go to the bathroom or needs to go and see their parents because they're scared or something, then here's what you do. If there's 2 coaches that are running the session, one coach takes the kid to the parent and the other continues to train. If you're the only coach doing the session, then you try to flag down the director and bring them over and have them take the kid to the parent or to the bathroom. If you're the only coach that's doing the training and the director is not available, then what you need to do is you need to have the athlete point out where their parent is, make eye contact with the parents, and inform them that you're sending their kid over to them. And then the last step there is you want to make sure that the kid connects with the parent before you take your attention off of them. Another scenario that does come up throughout trainings is injuries. And so if an athlete gets injured and you can right away assess that it's not a major injury, they got knocked down, they got pushed over, but they're fine, then don't make a big deal out of it, right? Don't rush over to them and act like dramatically they're majorly injured, because they will do the same thing. As a parent, I understand this rule very clearly, right? You want to make a joke out of it. You want to say, "Oh man, you were flying on that. I didn't know you could fly," or "You were safe, great slide. Let's get back in there." Right? The more dramatic you make it, the more dramatic the athletes will typically make it. And if you've ever trained my daughter Jovi, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, there could be a scenario, though, where there is a major injury. Somebody does actually get injured. They break something, they twist their ankle really bad, they're bleeding. In that scenario, you want to send all the other athletes to get a water break. And then you want to alert the director, bring the director over to help assess the situation, and then alert the parent so that the parent can come in and comfort the athlete, and ultimately you can collaborate on what to do from there. Okay, so these are some practical things that can help you keep the playing surface safe and make sure that you're abiding by the safety portion of caring. Okay, just remember this: you can't work at Elite FT unless you care about safety. Have a great day.
Wow, Justin, that was awesome. Well, what a great start. And again, a lot of those are just common sense. Sometimes we have to look at ourselves when we're on the field, even though the parent is outside looking in. We are in a lot of ways doing a lot of parental things. So we're kind of a temporary parent while we're working with that kid on the field. The most important takeaway from that is, making good common sense decisions that if anything happens to a child, we get the parent involved immediately. I know there's a procedure and a protocol that he just mentioned, find the director, but if you're the only coach there involved in the session, then obviously the common sense thing to do is just find the parent and get them involved. So Justin, great start. That was a great presentation. Hard act to follow. All right, let's move on, huh, Justin?
Just one thing I wanted to mention to bring attention to it is most of the lifers all have a little ending quote or a little tagline at the end, and we had a lot of fun with them. So I think Judasex might be the only one that rhymes. So shout out to Judy again.
There was emphasis on it too. I like the emphasis. Yeah.
Great.
It's all about speech pattern.
All right, let's move on. So that's caring. The first part of caring is safety. And then the second part, so the behavior of caring, second one is interaction.
Hi everyone, my name is Ricky Andrews. I joined Elite FT in 2005 and I have been a lifer since 2019. I am presenting on core values. Caring. Caring means displaying concern for others' safety with continuous interaction. If you truly care about someone, you will have the desire to personally and continuously interact with them. I believe I was chosen to present on interaction because I am a people's person. I interact with young kids, adults, old, middle-aged, doesn't matter. That was a value I got from my parents growing up. Have confidence to walk into a room. I can go into a room, don't know anybody, start talking with them, interacting with them. By the time the night's over, they're talking about me. Hey, that Ricky was a great guy to talk with. And with our core values, interaction means interact with all athletes, not just the familiar ones or the most skilled ones. Icebreaker, interact with athletes and parents as soon as they arrive and not just in the official start time. Continuous smiles. Smiling is contagious. Initiate conversations. Give compliments and high fives often. The name game. Learn athletes' name individually as they are arriving and not continuously in a line. When you learn athletes' name, use it over and over, helping yourself memorize the name. Go beyond the field. Ask about school. Ask about other sports. Ask about what they like to eat. Helping yourself relate training to life lessons when possible. Meet and greet parents and siblings as much as possible. For the younger age groups, if an athlete cries or does not want to participate, but stands on or near the field, coaches can spend a little bit of time with the athlete. But when there are other athletes participating, a lot of time cannot be spent with this one athlete. Ask them to play once or twice and say, hey, I'm going over here. Come join me and help me coach. And remember, smile. What we do is fun.
There you go, Coach Dave.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, the interaction part aspect of it is huge. I mean, whether we realize it or not, especially as the younger kids, when they step on the field with a coach, whether we realize it or not, we are somewhat of a role model, and they look up to us, and they can think it's cool to be with an older coach. Personally, I've always taken it upon as a challenge, and after doing this for a long time, I feel like gotten pretty good at it, no matter what kind of kid steps on the field. I mean, the ones who step on and have this bubbly personality and they can't stop talking and they love talking to you before you even talk to them. I mean, those are the types of kids that you can easily relate to, and it's easy to interact with them. But then again, you get the kid who steps on the field that's very apprehensive because, they're about to see an unfamiliar face and hear an unfamiliar voice. And that's what you are to a lot of kids who step on, again, especially the younger ones. Again, I always thought it's challenging on how you can connect with that kid, either get them to speak, get them, put them in their comfort zone as quickly as you can, and obviously smile and being upbeat and a lot of positive encouragement goes a long way. So, it's a challenge when you see those type of kids. So, when we do eventually run into them, the goal is how can I get them walking off the field wanting to come back? And if we can do that, that's an accomplishment. So when they come back, you see a different person, and that's the judge of it. The basis is if you see this kid one way for the first session or first couple of sessions, then all of a sudden over time you see their personality starting to change for the good and being a lot more positive. That means you made a connection. So it's about getting a kid in an unfamiliar surrounding and getting them comfortable with it. So very important. Good job. Who was that again, Justin?
that was Ricky Andrews.
Ricky Andrews.
Yeah, Ricky Andrews, English.
Have
guy.
I met Ricky?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
A lot of people have. He was at the holiday party this year for those who attended. Hey, I noticed it's a new hairdo.
Me?
No, check out Adam's new do. Nice, Adam. Nice. All right. So let's see here. So again, we remember these as M-Cord. Let's see here. So that was caring, safety, interaction. Now H, humble. We have the Roxy Strange.
Serving
Oh,
others leads to collective growth. Hi everyone, my name is Roxy Strange. I joined Elite FT in 2015, and I'm new to the Lifer Club in 2019. I am presenting on the core value humble. Being humble is the desire to serve others first while continually looking to self-evaluate. Humble leadership comes from an understanding that serving others leads to collective growth. I believe I was chosen to present on serving because I am a giver. I'm a helper. I love helping people. I also have a servant leadership style, meaning I have the humility and courage and insight to understand and admit that I can benefit from everyone's expertise within the company from top to bottom. This allows for a culture of learning, and it also allows and encourages followers to be the very best that they can be. So in our core values, serving means Elite FT is not here to serve you. You are here to serve Elite FT and all others involved. It means you're participating in EFT's educational program, as well as continued education through USSF coaches licensing programs. Always be willing to be coached by others, no matter how experienced you are. Seek and listen to advice of others on improving. Be willing to coach any program, age, skill level of athletes. Be willing to work in multiple locations. Be willing to pick up shifts when someone is in a bind. Boundless coaching theory. This means having the ability to be placed in any Elite FT training program with the knowledge and skills and consistency to run the program with quality. Focus on the athletes and parents, not on talking with the other EFT personnel. Help set up and clean up all equipment and trash. Assistant coaches should reemphasize what the coach is teaching by using the same terminology. Assistant coaches should never overpower or undermine the coach. If you disagree on something, you can address it in private, on a break, or after the session. Always be helping.
All right, let's see here. Okay, good job, Roxy. And I guess I should give a little bit of information about each lifer. So this next one, her name's Chelsea Smith. It's now, well, it was Chelsea Smith. It's now Chelsea Bauman. She married Sean Bauman, who's been a coach with us. They live in Colorado now. Chelsea was an athlete with the Elite FT at Camper for many years back in the early days, and then became a coach and was a coach for a long time until they just recently moved to Colorado. Okay, so she is presenting on, oh boy, let's see here. Technical difficulties, how do I get out of that? Hey, Dave.
Hey, wrong one there, dude.
Hi, everyone.
What you got
I'm
there?
Dave Fernandez.
Hold on.
They
And
don't need to see. They don't need to see me anymore than we're willing to show. Man.
My videos keep playing. After it gets done, it plays the next one. Anybody
You might
know
want
how
to keep.
stop?
Yeah, might keep an eye on your spotlighting too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Chelsea Smith, self-evaluation.
Hi everyone, my name is Chelsea Smith, now Chelsea Bauman. I joined Elite FT in 2007 and I have been a lifer since 2016. Today I am presenting on the core value, humble. Being humble is a desire to serve others first while continually looking to self-evaluate. In order to maintain humility, self-evaluation is a necessary part of the process. I believe I was chosen to present self-evaluation because growing up as a player, and then as a coach, and now as a nurse, I've always just been a little bit more critical of myself and always looking for ways to improve. Whether that was going to others, asking them for advice or feedback, I've just always had an eagerness to learn and excel in life. You could say I'm somewhat of a perfectionist, but only in matters I truly care about. When I'm coaching, I always want athletes to have the best experience while still being able to enjoy themselves. I think it takes a ton of courage to be able to look at yourself with all your flaws and then all your strengths and see where you can make improvements. But I think it takes even more courage to be able to go to somebody else and ask them those same questions and ask for their feedback on areas that you could improve on. But being able to self-evaluate makes you an even better coach. There's always something to learn, whether from yourself or from others. And in our core values, self-evaluation means striving to learn more and to never get to the point where you think you've learned everything. Be able to ask questions to your coworkers, to your director, and be able to take feedback. Be willing and confident to find ways to compliment every athlete at every session. Self-evaluate during and after each session using the TCMF assessment. Did you teach proper technique using the show and tell and correct and perfect methods? Did you compliment the athletes using the sandwich technique? Did you motivate athletes through maximizing potential and long-term perspective? Did the athletes have fun? And just remember, during or after your sessions, to reflect and to revise.
All right. Let's see here.
That was very good. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to see me for whatever reason. Justin is going to pop up my mug after everyone. I feel like I have to give my best impression of Morgan Freeman and narrate a story after each core value. But again, you know, what Chelsea went over there, obviously, a lot of it is common sense. So, you know, we just have to differentiate between, you know, being very simple in what we do. So, yeah, let's move on. That was very good.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so now we are moving to organized. Organized is prepared and adapt. So prepared is Tim and Devin Vance. Tim and Devin Vance, let me pause it here. Tim used to work in the office. He was a staff director for a few years. Devin played soccer at SIUE and became a coach, and they ended up getting married. Both did a fantastic job for the company, and they have a baby girl, Riley, that's about 1.5 years, getting close to 2 years, and they currently live in Arizona. So Devin wasn't able to participate in the video, but this is Tim Vance on being prepared.
Hi everyone, my name is Tim Vance. I joined Elite FT in 2009 and have been a lifer since 2016. I am presenting on the core value organized. Organized is having the ability to be prepared and adapt to all situations. Organization begins with how prepared a person is. I believe I was chosen to present on prepared because I had the awesome opportunity to be the staff director for Elite FT. This position took a lot of organization with ensuring that club training, the 6-week program, and summer camps were always properly staffed and everyone knew what they were doing. To this day, I am always impressed with how organized Elite FT is at every single session, so keep up the good work. In our core values, prepared means there's an art to setting up cones. They should be in straight lines, equal distance apart. They should be color coordinated. For example, if you set up a scrimmage field, the outside perimeter should be one color and the goal is a different color. All cones, balls, pennies, weights, etc. should be set up at minimum 10 minutes prior to the start of the session so you're ready. During a session, the setup of cones should not take away from training time of the athletes. If a lot of space is available, set up all of the activities prior to the start of the session. Always start with the end in mind. Set up the scrimmage field first, and then all of your activities inside that space for quick transitions. If minimal space is available, which it often is, if possible, set up activity 1 inside of activity number 2, so then you only need to remove the cones from number 1 when transitioning. If this isn't possible, set up cones on water breaks as quickly as possible. Plan or read the session prior to arrival. Make sure that key coaching points and rules are fresh in your memory to increase the flow of training. If needed, and I always do this, take the written session with you and keep it in your pocket, but only look at it while athletes are on a water break. Always give an opening speech to introduce yourselves and welcome the athletes to training. It sets the tone for the session. Strategically place yourself at the half line or near the group in the middle to maximize the visual on all the athletes. Assistants should position themselves opposite of the coach so the athletes are always being watched. Rotating stations and getting a drink. You should always rotate clockwise. Know the number of athletes and have at least one coach monitoring them on break. Give athletes, especially the younger ones, specific instructions on where to go using visual cues, and make sure to remind them not to go through other stations to prevent disruptions. If rotating stations, walk the entire group of athletes together to the next station. It often helps to have them pick up their soccer balls, put them on their heads, and march to the next location. Now that I've let you in on what it means to be organized, I'm going to leave you with a quote I live by when it comes to this core value. By failing to prepare, you are ultimately preparing to fail. See you guys.
All right. All right.
That was a good one. That was the Tim did at the end. Yeah, I can go on this topic quite extensively, and really you don't really get it until you're out on the field. But you know, if there's a story, I guess Justin and I had a conversation with him. What was Justin? Maybe 15, 20 years ago, probably when you first started the FT and started doing this. And I don't know, we got on the topic of presentation, how important it is. At least I shared how important it is to have the field set up beforehand, and everything that Tim went through, the little intricate things that make a difference. Because you know, talking about the parent being on the outside looking in, most of the time parents aren't going to really understand the content of what we're doing with their kid as far as an instructional thing, teaching, soccer related stuff. They're not going to know how to interpret that, because they're not going to know what they're looking at. But one thing they do notice from the very beginning, and when they walk in onto the field or walk into the facility and see an indoor field, is organization. And you know, I'm a neat freak. Okay, I'm a stickler for cones being straight, goals being aligned right, just the little bitty things, because that's some things that parents can observe right away. That's first impression. You know, it's just like being a parent and you walk into your child's bedroom and you see a lot of disorganization, and all of a sudden they're saying, hey, straighten this up, you know, clean that up, this and that. It's the same. To me, it's the same presentation as a coach when we get on the field and they first get there. I mean, the aesthetics, that's the word we talked about, Justin, back then. The aesthetics of what's how the structure is and how the setup is so important, because that's the first impression that parents see. That's the first thing that they can really evaluate and observe and know what they're looking at. So it's huge. And again, you're really not going to understand the little intricate things until you're out on the field with the kids doing a session. And when you see the difference between what is and what should be, it makes a difference. And it's very important to the customer. So, and that's the parent. So, yeah, it's I can go on and on with that. And when we eventually get out in the fields and we interact and everything, don't be surprised if I look and say, you know what, that cone's got to be aligned. I know I might be wound a little tight, but that, I think that's so important.
Those of you that have heard many of us talk, and the directors, you now, if you already didn't think Dave was the perfect hire, now you understand how he's the perfect fit into Elite FT. Huh? That's great. All right. Okay. So we're going to watch one more, and then we'll take a little 5-minute break. This one is presented by somebody's on here, Coach Donnie Sheehan. Donnie's been with us from the beginning. We played a little college soccer together. He's coached in the college ranks. He's coached at McKendree for many years with Tim Strange. Also was the head men's coach for a year. Then went on to Akron, University of Akron, with another lifer who's on here, Jared Embick-Iggy. And now Donnie is the director for the O'Fallon Kicks, which is our biggest partnership. So here's Donnie.
2004.
There we go.
Hi, my name's Donnie Sheehan. I joined Elite FT in 2004 and had the honor of becoming a lifer in 2016. Today, I am presenting on the core value of organized. Organized means having the ability to be prepared and adapt to all situations. Being able to adapt will enable a person to stay organized in any situation. I believe I was chosen to present on adapting because I've always been an easygoing person. I don't let the little things in life stress me out. If there's a last minute change, I can adapt to it and it doesn't stress me. For example, the lifers have a golf outing. Last minute, they say, no, change of plans. We're going to go bowling. Cool. Hold on. Let me grab my ball. Let's do this. How does it relate to the Lead FT? I could be on the way to a session or a camp. Justin or Roxy may call and say we have more numbers than expected. Donnie, can you do speed training instead of the goalkeepers? My reply every time, yeah, no problem. I'll take care of it. The key is be willing and able to adapt and always be confident. Now let's go into the core values and what adapt means. Adapt and improvise to any environment. Sometimes you may not have soccer balls, enough cones or pennies. We adapt to the situation. Adapt to weather. There could be a rain or lightning delay. Step 1, make sure the kids and yourself are safe and find shelter. Step 2, play on your cell phone. I hope nobody nodded their head yes on that one. That's a big no-no. Now, interact with the kids while you're waiting. Okay, play games, have fun with them. But the key is making sure you adapt to the situation and you have fun and interact with the kids. Sometimes you have excessive heat. You may have to change the water break schedule. Always be able to adapt based on skill level. Some athletes may progress to another level of skill while other athletes continue mastering the beginning level. An example of this is penguins. Encourage that the more experienced athletes to hop while doing the penguin, or add the drag while they're doing the penguin. Always be ready to adapt to a different number of athletes than expected and have a plan ready to go. Modify on the fly. This is a sign of a good coach. If something is not working and you can spot it, do you let it go or do you make the change? The sign of a good coach is make the change, whether that be the size of the grid, the number of athletes, change the rules, etc. Make that change, adapt. Changing from the written session provided may happen for any of the above reasons. Experienced coaches can also use their favorite activities, but they must stick to the same topic. Meaning, if the session's on finishing, a coach can do a different finishing activities, but cannot change the topic to defending. No lines. No more than three to four athletes should be waiting in a line. Think about the time spent in line, and it should not be more than the 4-to-1 rest to work ratio. Options are to make another grid, have multiple 1v1s on the field at the same time, etc. Neutral up. Add a neutral athlete, or one team has more players rather than have a coach join in when dealing with odd numbers. We want you there to coach and not play. For time or for points, make technical activities into games and or competitions by going for time and counting or getting X amount of reps. Be willing to coach any program, even last minute, when and if needed by the company. If 2 to 3 minutes are needed to set up cones, have the athletes do something, whether it be juggling, toe touches, etc. Thank you so much for being part of such a great company. Life is short. Enjoy it. Thank you. Take care. Stay safe.
Well done, Donnie. That was awesome. All right. First thing comes to mind for me is, coaching is really the little bitty intricate things, and adapting is huge. A lot of times good coaches, it's not about the X's and O's or how we're teaching the technique of an activity or something. It's how we set up an activity. When you coach and you want kids to succeed. You don't want to challenge them where they're going to constantly be failing because of maybe you have a grid that's way too small and they don't have the space needed. You got 12 kids, you got them in tight, you got 6-year-olds, and balls are just flying all over the place going out of bounds. Well, we have to adapt, make the space bigger, and give them an opportunity to succeed at whatever activity or game that you're playing. You may have one group of kids, you may have 12 kids one week, and then the next week you have that same group of kids on the field and you're doing a same activity or a similar activity and only 5 show up. So we have to be able to adapt to that. And a lot of times is the time and space that we're giving kids on any particular activity that we may be doing. As a good coach, you have to know how to adapt to those situations. And again, a lot of this is going to be more on field where we can visually see it and know how to make the changes. So, again, it goes back to the little intricate things, little detailed things, and adapting to how you have your training session set up is very important. Very important.
Great.
Next.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we'll take a 5-minute break. We'll come back, take any questions, and then go through the other 6 behaviors. So see you in 5 minutes.
Justin, I'm reading an email from MISA on how they're going to start up playing with kids again. Your audio's turned. There you go.
They're pretty soon, right?
May 18th. That's this week.
That's Monday. What are they saying? Are they having games or just training?
Well, you know, that as expected, we got both positive and negative comments. Some have questioned how their children are to play soccer under these guidelines. Quite honestly, they are not. Our message from the beginning of this ordeal has been that this will be a long process. I mean, I don't see how they can play. What guidelines can you put down that during a game that they're going to follow? I mean, what happens when the ball goes out of bounds and there's a throw in? Do we have to disinfect the ball before a kid picks it up and throws it in?
Yeah, I don't know how they're doing games.
It's
And they were talking about doing kick-ins instead of throw-ins.
really, well,
But you
Makes
still have to
sense.
go touch the ball to get
Yeah.
it, so kind of defeats the point.
That's interesting. Okay, guys, we'll get started in 1 minute. We'll have a quick little we'll ask for questions and then a quick little review, see if anybody knows any answers. Patrick, where'd you go? Where are you at now?
Got tired of the beach. Went up to Alaska.
Hey, Coach Crystal. Coach Crystal had to teach in the gym this morning, so she took one for the team and did a little coaching in the annex from 9 to 10 and is joining us now. Thank you for doing that, Coach Crystal.
I'm all sweaty and hot, but I'm here.
Okay, does anybody have any questions on what we've reviewed so far, whether it be any of the core values or anything that Roxy talked about earlier with the summer camps, anything like that? If you do, you'll need to unmute yourself and then ask away. No. Actually, let's unmute all. I've unmuted everybody. So I do have a little quiz. Can anybody name all 3 of the core values?
Gentleman who worked radio station.
Ooh, I don't think I like this. Hold on. Never mind.
What are you going to talk?
Okay, everyone's muted. Can anybody name all 3 of the core values? Give me a little wave and I'll unmute you. The core values. Coach Jules.
Caring, humble, and organized.
Caring, humble, and organized. Good. CHO, so cord. So it's M, cord. Okay, thanks, Coach Jules. I can't see everyone, so if you're waving, I don't call you, sorry. Okay, so let's go with caring. Can anybody name the 2 behaviors? Wave if you know. Not Coach Jules. Okay, Bella.
Safety and interaction.
Safety and interaction. Very good. Very good. So it's core CH. So H, humble. Who can name those 2? Give me a wave. Give me a wave. Not Jules, not Bella. I see Laura. Can't unmute you. There you go.
Serving and self-evaluation.
Good. Serving and self-evaluation. Good. And organized. Organized. David Cole.
Thank you. Being prepared and adapting.
Being prepared and adapting. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. So I'd like you all to write those down real quick. Whether if you have a pen and paper, use that. If you don't, if you want to put a note in your phone, let's go ahead and write them down. So to review, caring was Coach Jules. I'm not going to tell you the answers. You should know them. H, humble. O, organized. So write them down. And then on the side, be Chelsea Smith. Be honest with yourself, self-evaluate, and write the 1 or 2 that you are great at and the 1 or 2 that you need to improve a little bit. Cool. While you're doing that, I'm gonna get back to the screen share. start talking about the next value. Okay, CHOR, responsible. The next core value, responsible, Rob Lugie, Sam Kiamativan. Rob Lugie is presented on accountable. He is on this call. He is currently the head boys coach at Collinsville High School. Still does quite a bit of work for us, usually in the winters and the winter, spring, summer. And does a great job. And he's the one that I mentioned earlier that when he was working on how to relate this to himself and his tagline, that he said these bullet points are spot on with him. They define him exactly. So, okay, let's get started. Screen share, play, and here we go.
Hi, everyone.
Oh.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rob Lugie. I joined Elite FT in 2012 and have been a lifer since 2016. I'm presenting on the core value responsible. Responsible is the act of being both loyal and accountable. Those that are responsible are accountable for their actions. I believe I was chosen to present on accountable because of the way I approach each training session. I believe it is our obligation to give our very best each time. It starts from the moment you step out of your car wearing Elite FT gear. Having the understanding that just showing up 15 minutes prior is not good enough. In my opinion, being on time is being late. For me, being early allows me to set up my training sessions and feel prepared. This allows me to focus solely on setting the expectations and the coaching points being presented during the day's session. These are just a few ways I try to be accountable with my training sessions. Other aspects of accountability are as follows. Reply to all messages, calls from customers and Elite FT employees in a timely fashion. Arrive at least 15 minutes early for the powwow and set up before athletes and parents arrive. If you, the coach, are running late, be respectful and contact the director of that specific session. If you are running late for an individual session, you should call the parent and the Elite FT office. The person in charge of the equipment at each location should bring the proper amount to each session. Cones, pennies, pumped up balls, ladders, etc. Return equipment using the proper inventory procedures. Refrain from using profanity anytime you are in Elite FT uniform. This includes while training older athletes, before and after sessions, playing on Elite FT indoor teams, and while anywhere in public. Stay active throughout the training session and never be caught standing still. Always look to assist or engage in training additional athletes if you find yourself having downtime. At the end of every session, bring athletes in to review, ask questions, and give homework. Use the full time available. Do not finish early or run late. That's what the parent paid for and is expecting. No surprises. Immediately report any parental complaints, major injuries, etc. to the soccer director. Deal with parent complaints away from the athletes and other adults and have them call Elite FT if necessary. Thanks, and remember that if you show up on time, you're late.
Uh-oh.
Dave, you're muted.
I am.
He's good now. There you go. You're good now, Dave.
Yeah.
I muted everybody, so.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. That was awesome. You know, the one word that jumps out at me is the word loyal. And when we think about being loyal, we think about being loyal to a part of a family. I tell you what, I've only been as limited as I've been able to be active because of what we're going through right now and having not left my basement in the last 2 months. I don't think I've ever been part of a group, an organization that I feel is a family. You know, I've known Justin for a long time, and I've known many of you all out there for a long time. So I do have a relationship with several of you, but I've never felt being a part of of a group as much as this one just in the past 2 months, where people I've talked to, and I've done some sessions back in the winter. I was at TSA a couple times, met some of you out there, worked with some coaches, went out to Belleville a little bit, worked with some of you out there. I went to the Powerhouse in Columbia and worked with a few of you out there. Tara, you were out there when I started doing some things. So I've been around a little bit for a while, but every person I've talked to, and whether I knew you or just met you for the first time, talking about how important it is that you were a part of Elite FT and how family oriented it is. And everybody I've talked to I already sensed a sense of loyalty to that. So hearing these, what Rob went through, again, immediately in my mind said, well, every person that I've talked to so far since I've been a part of it, gives that sense of loyalty. And, when you're loyal to a group, when you're loyal to a family, you make sacrifices in many ways. And I've already sensed that in the short period of time I've been here. So, and again, I've never been part of a group or an organization that has gone to the extent of what we're doing today, what we're going through right now, that did anything, that went to that level and made sure everybody was on the same page, thinking the same things. So, again, I just can't wait to really dive into a lot more activity with everyone, and eventually, where we can get together in a room and talk about some things and go over some more detailed stuff as far as how we can, make the company even better in that interaction. So yeah, that to me, I got that sense of loyalty from the very, very beginning. So it's unique and it's special. So glad to be a part of it.
Great. Well, that's a great lead in to this next one, which is Sammy Kiomanivan, who also, him and his entire family grew up in the company. Mom used to work for the company. He has several siblings. Sue Lynn is his older sister. Mara, Seth, they're all around. Sammy, I guess it was maybe 2 years ago, lost his leg in a motorcycle accident. He's actually worked for us since then, but he's a lifer, and I'll let him kind of tell the story.
Hi everyone, my name is Sammy Kiomanivan. I joined Elite FT in 2004 and have been a lifer since 2016. I'm presenting on the core value, responsible. Responsible is the act of being both loyal and accountable. An Elite FT employee is responsible for maintaining loyalty to the company and to each other. I believe I was chosen to present on loyalty because I grew up in a family of 4, and being the eldest was my responsibility to encourage, support, and set the example for my 3 siblings. Loyalty is having someone else's best interests at heart and avoiding compromising their well-being. It's going above and beyond without expectations in return. Working for Elite FT, I've taken that mindset and my responsibilities into the company. In return, I've gained a loyal place of employment, endless opportunities, friendship, and family. And in our core values, loyalty means Elite FT is your extended family. Treat the company as if it was your own. Get an Elite FT tattoo on your only leg. Never violate the non-compete agreement. If you have a question about it, please ask. Attend extracurricular events such as holiday and summer parties. Participate in fun dance videos for social media and other non-work activities. Be honest and only miss a shift if it is absolutely necessary. Help cover shifts for fellow coaches when needed. Help the team by setting up and cleaning up equipment. Go above and beyond to help your co-coaches and the company. People will remember you for that. Trust me. Loyalty to family, friends, and Elite FT. I cut above the rest.
Wow. Yeah, what a great into loyalty tattoo. Anybody out there going to that extent? Justin, you got anybody else that's reached that pinnacle as far as loyalty to the organization?
Sammy's on us hard, a couple of us, to try to get them, but I don't have any tattoos. I'm scared.
I tell you what, and I'm sure many of you know Sam, but if you've never met Sam, and I've known Sam for a long time, ever since he was a kid, and known him growing up, and obviously he went through a life-changing experience. He's the epitome of meeting someone who's had such an experience and kept such an upbeat, positive just, you know, his personality, it didn't diminish. It just flourished. It just went to heights that once you got to see him soon after his accident, and every time I meet up with him, it's just nothing but positive. Life is good, and it's what a great example to have as far as loyalty. But Sammy's a great guy, so hopefully, I don't know if he still is as active as he used to be, just in getting involved. But if anybody has an opportunity to meet Sam, he's an inspiration. So I hope everyone has an opportunity.
I forgot to mention, he's currently living in Nashville. He moved just a few months ago, and he's actually working for the company that made his prosthetic. So he found his passion, and he's helping. He's going to school and working for them to change his career into that. So
yeah,
very
I
good.
sense that every time I ran into him. It's he's so passionate at what he's trying to do now. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, when he told me he was getting it tattooed, our company logo tattooed on his leg, I thought there was no way he was serious. And I went with him to the tattoo shop, and he did it. And wow, I still am humbled by the fact that somebody would get a tattoo, not on one of your two legs, but on your only leg. So, okay, let's move on. Okay, discipline. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Josh Boyd on maintaining control.
Hi everyone, my name is Josh Boyd. I joined Elite FT in 2007, and I've been a lifer since 2016. I am presenting on the core value discipline. Being disciplined means having the ability to maintain control through confident leadership. A disciplined environment isn't one in which all the participants maintain control. I believe I was chosen to present on maintaining control because of my ability to manage personalities. I also have the ability to cater to each player's needs, to have an understanding that this kid may be a little more hyper, a little more energetic than the other kid. You have to make sure that you get all of your kids on the same page so that they can all accomplish the same goal. We want to make sure that they have fun, that they're challenged, and that they're educated. In doing so, you almost have to make like a classroom setting. You know, a few kids are going to be rowdy, some kids are going to be louder than others, some kids are just going to look like they're not engaged. That's your job, is to manage those personalities, to get the kids who aren't engaged, the kids that are loud, get them to quiet down, the kids that are running all over the place, you have to get them to be patient and still. And one of the things that I love to do is tell them, hey, you give me 10 to 15 minutes of this, and I'll let you have 10 to 15 minutes of playtime, or I'll let you have 10 to 15 minutes of being creative and being crazy, wild, and yelling and having fun. And typically that works. So you got to find the balance to make sure that you give the kids what they want, but their kids also have to give you what you want. As the coach, you set the example. Always do the right thing even when no one is watching. You maintain control and the athletes will follow. Coaches, you should always keep your cool even when the athletes are acting up. Demand eye contact and silence when you speak. Athletes should not be moving their ball or messing with their gear or even disrupting other players while you're speaking. Challenge the athletes to work hard and give everything they have. Keep the athletes active through sessions with minimum standing still. Short leash. If an athlete who has a behavior problem, keep them on a short leash, which means you say their name often, keep a close eye on them, and keep them close to you. Disciplining of athletes could include having them do sprints, push-ups, burpees, star jumps. If multiple athletes are messing around and being disruptive, separate the disobedient athletes, put them in different groups, put them across from different grids. Coaches should have disobedient athletes stand nearby and remind them of the rewards, such as being able to play the games or the scrimmage at the very end. For ages 6 and under, if an athlete won't separate from their ball, put in a place close by and visible for that athlete. During activities such as tail feather or knockout, do not play elimination. Create a grid on the outside and have them do activities to get back in to rejoin, like penguins or flamingos. If an athlete runs off the field during an activity, one of the coaches must bring them back while the other coach continues. If you are the only coach, you should have the other athletes keep playing or freeze while you get the athlete back. If an athlete is too physical, bring them to the side and explain sportsmanship, or that we want them to play hard but not hurt anyone. If an athlete during a scrimmage or activity is taunting other athletes, say they're better, you're not any good, calmly but immediately pull them to the side, Ask the athlete how it would feel if someone were to do it to them. If a parent comes onto the field, help assess the situation, and if needed, find your director to address the situation. I think in closing, I think it's safe to say that you want to make sure that your group is under control and that you're doing the things that you should be doing. Don't allow one bad apple to spoil the bunch.
Yeah, one thing that after doing this for so long, 30 plus years, I feel like I've been through multiple cycles. And what I mean by that is, you get to see a kid at the age of 7 and you get to see them through all the way through high school when they're 17, 18. I've been able to go through that cycle multiple times now within a 10-year gap. And the cycle that I experienced way back when and the cycle that we're going through, the way kids are now, is completely different. We have to be honest. Today's kid is different. And if you're a teacher out there, you know exactly what this means. You got to treat kids differently now than you did 15, 20, 25, 30 years ago. At least, that's what I've experienced. There's no question. And when you're dealing with a different kid, that means you're also dealing with a different parent nowadays. And it is, to me, it's different. I mean, a lot of us are just starting out our first cycle, and you're experiencing what is now, and you have nothing to compare it to. But, the two things I always come back to is if you're going to, nowadays, whether you're a teacher of anything, whether you're academically, athletically, a coach, a teacher, any kind of instructor, the two qualities you have to have in order to be successful or give yourself a chance is temperament, and discipline. So if you don't have temperament and patience right now, like Justin said at the very outset, this may not be a place for you, because you have to exceed a great deal of temperament, all right, and a great deal of patience with kids. And if you're not able to do that, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging. So I've over time I've adapted and learned that I have patience for miles right now. Nothing I don't think I can deal with as far as dealing with kids and their personalities, because over time you just learn to just again adapt to the different kid. But yeah, patience and temperament are two qualities that you have to have in order to do something like this. So
great.
Move on.
That's awesome. Okay. Here we go, and we are in the core value discipline. Josh, not John Boyd, I don't know where that came from. Maintain control, and Paulie B. Paulie Daniels, confident.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Paul Daniels. I joined the company in 2013 and became a lifer in 2018. I'm presenting on the core value discipline. Being disciplined means having the ability to maintain control through confident leadership. In order to maintain discipline, a coach needs to exude confident leadership over the group. I think J-Mac chose me to talk about confidence because he thinks I'm the best looking person in the company. Also, I think that he feels that I'm comfortable in almost any situation. I was taught that leading with confidence or being confident in a situation often makes everyone around you more comfortable as well. In our core values, being confident means using a loud, commanding voice. Make eye contact and initiate conversations. Be able to change the volume of your voice and demeanor based on the group you have and how they're behaving. Laugh and smile to show athletes that you are comfortable and in control of what is going on. Be animated by using hands and other nonverbal cues to emphasize coaching points. Object-free coaching. Unless goalkeeper training, always keep balls and other objects out of your hands and feet to avoid nervous fidgeting. Understand the tough versus fun coaching mentality. Tough coaches focus more on training the athletes. Fun coaches focus more on having a good time with the athletes. Both approaches are necessary at different times and in different settings. A tough mentality is the preferred approach in all settings. Beginning sessions with tough mentality is the preferred approach. Finding ways to incorporate the fun mentality should unfold with the sessions. At the end of the day, be loud, be proud, be confident.
Yeah, this is something that I can relate to, thinking about what mentors I've had back and forth, and Justin and I, and maybe a couple more of you out there, have had the pleasure of playing for our old high school coach, Gene Baker. Coach Baker, first thing that they mentioned and comes to mind is how loud he was. Justin, I don't know if you remember that, but he was so loud, and his voice, and the imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, as they say. And I can't tell you a lot of Granite Cityans, kids that I've coached over the years when I first moved back in the area, that we both had that direct contact with Coach Baker. They grew up playing with him, and I grew up playing with him. The first thing they said was, "Man, I can't tell you your mannerisms, your speech, your voice pattern, your volume. It reminds me so much of Coach Baker." And obviously, I take that as a compliment. But that's the first thing I took away when I first started coaching was the confidence that I experienced with him. As soon as he started talking, he had your attention. I'm like, wow. And you were mesmerized. I mean, the one thing I always looked forward to before each practice and game back then was just listening to him talk. And he just had you. So, that was and then to have players saying, "Man, you reminded me so much of him," because I remember back then, that's what attracted me. And that's what first got me as far as a first impression, listening to him. And for them to say that about me and compare the two, I thought that was pretty cool. But the first thing kids detect, and the first thing that they sense is your voice and how you present it. And they sense weaknesses too. Kids, if you're not too assured of yourself in what you're saying and how you're saying it, that comes across to the kids. So very well done, Paul. That was good stuff.
Great. Okay. And obviously, I think everyone knows Josh Boyd and Paul Daniels are still both very currently active with the company. The final part, mentor. We really wanted this to be at the end, but it's just easier to remember. Cord M doesn't sound good. M Cord does. So that's why the order is a little weird. So mentor, coaching, and wisdom. Coaching is Jared Imbick. I grew up with Jared Imbick, played actually rec soccer with him, high school, college soccer. He trained me a little bit, which he'll discuss. Now he's the head coach at the University of Akron. Lost in the national championship a year and a half ago. Won one, but here we go.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jared Imbick. Most people will know me by my nickname, Iggy. I joined Elite FT in 2002 and have been a lifer since 2017. I'm presenting on the core value, mentor. Mentor is the ability to coach and pass on wisdom to other coaches. A mentor coach has firm understanding of the technique and skill being taught. I believe I was chosen to present on coaching because, I'm an experienced coach and been doing this for a while, and I've been relatively successful in the last 11 years. I've been to 5 Final Fours, 3 national championships at the University of Akron, and won 1 national title. My path began by coaching this scrawny kid back in Granite City, Justin McMillan. You guys may know him. He's coming off knee injuries and needed someone to help push him and get him back to his best. So he enlisted my help, and, I planned to prepare drills for him. And, he was able to, get back to his best and have a great year and move on to be a professional player. I think that really encouraged me and gave me confidence in my ability to coach and drive people. And then I continue to do that for many years after. I think my strengths as a coach is, I try to teach people to see the game differently, how to work together, different ways of playing. And we've created a unique brand at University of Akron, and my teams count on me for a lot of the wisdom I present. We play pretty well in terms of style of play, and at halftime, the players really enjoy my adjustments and that. But I think it's my ability to teach people how to see the game differently and in a better perspective. All right, moving on, and then going to go into some topics into coaching that I think can help you guys. And in our core values, coaching means teach the athletes something new each session to foster growth and creativity. Keep it simple by focusing on just 1-2 techniques throughout a session. Ask questions to engage the athletes and ensure learning. Never yell at athletes for failed technique, but give instruction on how to improve it, challenge it, and push them to make it perfect the next opportunity. All right, just remember that they want to get better and they want to be pushed. Use the sandwich technique. Sandwich any negative feedback between positive feedback. All right, remember the elite position. Keep the athletes active with their feet moving, knees bent, and chest forward. Don't get caught up in officiating. We want the coaches to give coaching points, not count passes. Right? Use the show and tell and correct and perfect system. Show and tell includes the coach explaining and demonstrating the technique being used. Right? Correct and perfect includes the coach identifying mistakes in technique and challenging athletes to strive for perfect technique, not just good technique. Don't overwhelm the athletes with everything at once, but use the following order of explanation during sessions. Give only essential instructions without coaching points and take questions. Begin activity. Stop and clarify instructions that need addressed. Resume exercise. Stop and make coaching points. Finish exercise. All right. Lastly, remember you are a coach, not a player. If the activity is partner passing and there are 11 athletes, make one group of 3. If the activity is scrimmage and there are 9 players, play 5v4 or 4v4 plus 1 or have a sub. The only exceptions for you to help are if there's an assistant coach, she can participate while the head coach instructs. All right. Remember, you're a coach, so coach them up.
Wow. Justin, was Iggy like, Obi-Wan Kenobi to your Luke Skywalker when he was mentoring you to get back? Is that what he was referring to?
Yeah, it was great. He finished. I had some couple of ACLs, so redshirted, and
I remember.
Yeah, and he had the summer off, and I was training. So we went out and we scheduled times. It was every morning at 9 o'clock, and we went and. Some of the stuff he would do with me and other things he didn't really want to because he wasn't preparing for anything. So he planned the sessions and put me through it. He had never coached before, but it's just something he did as a friend, and he was wanting to go into coaching. So that was my summer training with him, and then now look where he's at. So yeah, it was pretty great.
A perfect example that a mentor doesn't have to be one that's 10, 15, 20, 25 years older than you. Imposing their knowledge and experience to you. You guys are the same age, and you looked upon it that moment right there as him mentoring you.
Yeah, it was great. It worked out wonderful for both of us.
Yeah, and again, my perspective is I've been doing this for 34 years. So if anything I can initially impart or bring to the company, to the organization, I feel I have to do in a mentor type of form because I've been doing this for so long. So I can't wait to have the opportunity, again, like I said earlier, where we are all able to get together in one group and especially get back on the field of coaching kids. If I don't use what experiences I've gone through and convey them to you, my whole position as a soccer director, I'm doing a disservice if I can't be able to do that. So, which I think I can, and I'm looking forward to just sharing the little nuances and little things that make a difference. Everything that we've went through with all these core values and all the little bitty things underneath each one of them you know, a lot of them that was read and that was stated is the little things, just the little intricate details that make a difference. Just by saying something different, by changing the setup of a session, something different, a little tweak makes all the difference. And those little intangibles go a long way. You know, we went through the core values, the main words, the verbiage and everything, but it's the little bitty subtitles and everything underneath each one that add up and make the difference. So if anything, I'm hoping to add little things on a continuous basis that are going to make the big things a little bit better. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we got to get out of here. I got to get out of my basement. I can't take it for much longer.
Can you tell Dave wants to go out and coach some kids in person?
It's you know, and a lot of us may look upon, and those of us who've done it long enough may look at it this way, but I've always looked at that the soccer field is my office. Because that's where I think I am do what I do best, and I can help others help them get better. So yeah, this is silly to me, and I just can't wait to get out of the house. My wife's driving me crazy. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. So we have one left. The big dog, and then after this we'll you know, we will review them all and then take questions, and that'll be it. So this last one, like I said, is the big dog, Timmy Strange. Timmy Strange, I've known him for many years. He's the head women's coach at McKendree University. He's helped us out through many years of coaching, and also just some guidance and wisdom that he's helped me out with different things in the company and coaching education.
Strange.
Oh.
I joined Elite. Hello, everyone. My name is Tim Strange. I joined Elite FT in 2004 and have been a lifer since 2017. I am presenting on the core value mentor. Mentoring is the ability to coach and pass on wisdom to other coaches. Mentoring comes from the desire to share wisdom that you have gained over time. I believe I was chosen to present on wisdom because I've been doing this for a long time and I care so much. This means I love to see coaches and players get better. I really enjoy when coaches are fully involved with the players and stamp their own coaching style on it. I always want to see players improve in all aspects of life and soccer. In our core values, wisdom means don't be selfish. Use your experience in Elite FT to help other coaches improve their abilities. Seek the opportunity to share your wisdom with parents, club, and high school coaches. Pass along wisdom with EFT coaches, directors, lifers, and owner. Lead your assistant coach. Occasionally, you will have an assistant coach with you. It is your role to lead this person. Saying that person didn't do anything is saying that you didn't do your job. Here are some of the things you can tell your assistant. Give individual attention. Stand opposite other coaches. Stay engaged with the athletes. Repeat what you say. Remember, you learn something new every day.
Finally, somebody older than I am. And Rox, you can tell him I said that.
I think he's on here.
I'm listening.
I'm just kidding, Tim, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. I know you have wisdom, but I didn't want to refer to your age that way. But no, yeah, just reiterating what I said earlier, imparting wisdom, imparting just experiences and knowledge, to everyone. I'm really looking forward to that aspect of it. And again, this is really the biggest, the opportunity and my experience as far as coaching, the biggest group of people I've ever been involved with. So, I look at it as having an opportunity to make contact and interact and develop relationships with a great number of people. So this is by far the biggest soccer family I've ever been a part of. So I can't tell you how many times, and you know, we always looked upon that. Yeah, you've been doing this for a long time. I feel like I got a lot to share. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a session or heard someone speak or seen a coach, a young coach, work with kids that I took something away from that. And, you know, we really don't understand that sometimes, that you can have a young coach, 20, 21, 22 years old, and I've been doing this for so long, and I'm like looking at it and something comes out of them and like, wow, I've never heard it said that way before, or I've never seen it done this way before. And you interpret it saying, you know, the way you think after a period of time is, yeah, I can implement that in what I do. I can take that and put it into my repertoire, so to speak. So hopefully the interaction and the wisdom and the learning is a two-way street. I mean, it's by no means going to be a dialogue. You know, here's how you do, and this is what you do, and this is how you do it. If there's no dialogue and feedback coming from the other end, you know, you really don't get the end result that you're hoping to. So, you know, there's numerous situations where I've learned from younger coaches just by watching, and it happens on a regular basis. So, you know, and it goes back down to a lot of the core values we just went to: being humble, being able to adapt, you know, being a good listener from anyone. So there's a lot of things you pick up along the way from everyone. So hopefully we're going to be able to do that.
Great. Okay, so we're just gonna recap like we did on the other part. So if you remember responsible, oh shoot, I forgot. Who can name the 3 core values we just talked about? The other 2. Give me a little wait. It's gotta be somebody new. Tara.
Oh, hang on. Okay. Responsible, discipline, and mentor.
Great. Responsible, discipline, and mentor. Let's go with responsible. Who can name the 2 behaviors under responsible? Courtney.
We have accountable and loyalty.
Great. Thank you. And the 2 behaviors under discipline? Chris Moore.
Maintaining control and confidence.
Great. And mentor, the final 2 behaviors, Thomas Heighton, the youngster.
Coaching and wisdom.
Good. Coaching and wisdom. So we'll just take a minute for everyone to, you should probably already have them written down, but take a minute, compare those 6 only, and jot down 2 or 3 you do well, 2 or 3 you need to improve at. And then I'd like you to take the list of all of the ones, you know, from the first 6 and the last 6, and narrow it down to just your top 2, your best 2 of them, and the 2 you need to improve the most on. Little Chelsea Smith, Chelsea Bauman, self-evaluation here. All right, everybody, we're gonna finish up here. So just take that, keep that with you. Think about it whenever we do get out on the field working. And again, I wanna thank the office staff, Roxy, Dave, for helping out with today, making it great, and the lifers for making the videos, especially those who spent their morning with us, hanging out, being a part of it. And also to all of you guys for coming this morning and attending and being with us giving us your Saturday morning. You will be getting paid for this, so it'll be on the next payroll paycheck. We'll get it all added for the 2 hours. So thank you so much for joining. We're gonna stay on here. You are free to go. If you're doing onboarding, we'll start that right at 11 o'clock. If you have any questions, feel